Hey guys, we are just going live now, and this is my first live stream, and wanted to jump on this because didn't really have much time to do a full-fledged video. Just wanted to really talk about some of the big news that's coming out of the NHL and something that might even impact this channel, as it's pretty exciting. I'm super stoked about it, so let's just jump into it. Uh, for those of you who maybe aren't too involved with the NHL, there's been a lot of rumors recently over the past week, especially that the Arizona Coyotes are going to be relocating to Utah, and that the owner of the Coyotes, Morello, will be selling the team to the NHL, and then the NHL will turn around and sell that to Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith. And just wanted to jump on and talk about it here and uh, what's been going on. Maybe some of you who aren't as into the NHL, but you're excited about the team moving. Just wanted to kind of give you some background about what's led up to this point, and then also talk about what it means going forward. So let's take a step back here first. So Ryan Smith purchased the Utah Jazz, and then he's expressed interest in not only building the Utah Jazz, but also in bringing other professional sports into Utah. And one in particular is the NHL. I think it's because Ryan Smith enjoys hockey. He's a big hockey guy, but also since he owns the Delta Center, he already has a venue that they're going to be able to play in. So Smith expressed interest in trying to bring an NHL team to Salt Lake City as early as 2022. He even showed interest in wanting to purchase the Pittsburgh Penguins way back in May 2023 when they were going for sale. And I thought that was just kind of ridiculous. Like, well, was he actually going to think about possibly moving the Penguins, this historic franchise? I don't know what the plan was there, but it ended up not going through. But he's been in these constant conversations with Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL. Uh, During last year's Stanley Cup Finals, there was again noise that Smith was again still pushing for a team. And so there's just been these constant conversations. And then what happened in January, Ryan and Ashley Smith put out an official statement saying that they are prepared and ready for an NHL team. Which the more that they kept doing that made me think, okay, wow, this is starting to get kind of serious. And hopefully, whenever there's another round of expansion, the cool thing about the NHL is that because they have some Canadian teams, it's plausible that they could have more than 32 teams, which would be way more than the other professional sports. And so there is that possibility of expansion even more. So they were just trying to make sure that they knew that Gary Bettman knew that they were ready to have a team. I mean, Ryan even said for a while, like, I don't care how I get a team, expansion or a relocation, we're just ready to get one. The NHL then responded to that, saying that there have been positive conversations and that they will continue to have those discussions, which made me feel like, yeah, Utah's going to get a team sooner or later. But 6 days ago, Ryan put out a tweet asking, so what should the team, if Utah was to get an NHL team, what should they name it? And that sent off some red flags with me of like, okay, wow, why would this owner who's expressed so much interest, why would he be jumping on this and wanting to get some feedback on the team name? I think he's trying to stir up some hype here. And sure enough, a couple of days later, a story comes out that the NHL was making two different schedules, one with the Coyotes playing in Arizona, and then one with the possibility of them playing in Salt Lake City. Now, let's just pause a little bit before we move forward with what else has been going on this week. And let's just talk about what led up to this point for the Coyotes. I mean, the Coyotes were initially the old Winnipeg Jets. If you haven't watched my NHL video, I'll maybe post a link up here where you can go and watch it. And it has the history of what's been going on. But they relocated from Winnipeg to Arizona, and I want to say it was like the late '90s or something like that. Ever since the Coyotes have gone to Arizona, there's just been a lot of dysfunction, especially really amongst the ownership groups, the different ownerships groups that have had these. It got so bad that the NHL actually had to purchase the Arizona Coyotes because the owner went bankrupt. And so they purchased the Coyotes from the owner, and then that was actually their best like run of they made the playoffs during that year. That was their best finish, was when it was actually under the NHL's control. And there was a couple of other owners before this most recent one, Morello, but eventually Morello had the team, and the team couldn't pay its bills in terms of staying in an arena. It was put down as like a tax reason, maybe just an honest mistake that they said, but essentially they got kicked out of their arena. And ever since then, that was about a few years ago, they've been struggling to really secure a permanent home spot. There's been a couple attempts to go to Tempe. They even tried to partner with Arizona State to have a shared stadium. That event, Arizona State backed out of that one. That fell through. And then they've been trying Scottsdale was another option. And the mayor of Scottsdale basically said, we don't want you. And same with Tempe. Tempe, you voted no, we don't want you. And so they've been playing in I want to say it's at least a year, maybe 2 years. They've been playing in Mullet Arena, which is where Arizona State plays, and it only seats 5,000 people, which could be a fun atmosphere and experience, especially for visiting teams to do it every now and then. But to play 41 games in a year, it's got to be weird and awkward for the team and the players. They want to play in like an actual arena. And it's also hard for the fans, I would feel like, not being able to, have as many fans at the game. So they've really just been struggling mightily. And now they've gotten to the point where their only shot that they had left was to purchase some land, I think up in like northeast Phoenix area. But what that would have required was for them to be able to win a land auction that wasn't even happening until the end of June. And so really what happened, I think, is you have an owner here in Ryan Smith who's ready to have a team, has deep pockets, it is from the tech industry, has a lot of support from the city, the community. And so he is ready to just go all in on a team. And then you have this other team who is playing in a 5,000 seat arena. And we don't even know if, not just when, but if they're even going to be able to get a stadium. So I think that had some of the NHL governors and Gary Bettman pretty concerned about the future of the Coyotes and where they were going to play. And so with that, you've now had this conversation of, well, okay, how can we make this work where Morella will be encouraged to give up the team and be able for the Ryan Smith, the Jazz owner, to move in on this. And so, like I said, we heard about 6 days ago that he put out a tweet, and then 2 days later, there's a story saying that 2 different schedule renditions are coming through. And the same day as that, that happens, just over the next 24 hours, there's been reports coming out that there's just a lot of aggressive talks, and that the talks are moving pretty rapidly, that it's more of just kind of as soon as it's going to happen, it's more of a surety that it's actually going to happen. So, but nothing is coming out official yet. And I think the reason why is because they want to, I think the Coyotes owner wants to have some assurances that he's going to be able to get a team back as soon as he gets the arena situation figured out. And so there's been a lot of quiet over from all the parties involved. The only news that is coming out is from just from a lot of the reporters breaking this news. So there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of people who are trying to refute the claims. And I get it. There's probably some frustrated and angry people on who, have a lot on the line for them who support the Arizona Coyotes. And so they were trying to like see that they or say that this is not a for sure thing. But on Friday, this most recent Friday, there then were sources that were breaking out that Coyote players had been informed that they were being relocated to Utah, and that if they wanted to, they could schedule some time, or they would schedule a time to go out there this coming week to go out and view the city and take a look at the facilities that they'll be playing in after that final game. So that's, Friday is that's just more news pouring on that this is just going to be a for sure thing. And then I think just recently, within the past 24 hours or so, the Coyotes owner put a statement out saying basically that he can't speak on the matter because there's a lot of things going on. Um, and uh, so I mean, him saying that he can't comment on all of the things happening because there's so much going on is just an indication that the Coyotes are going to be moving to Utah. Uh, so I think what we can expect in the future is a possible meeting this upcoming week between Utah ownership, the fans, and the Coyote players. There's been a lot of rumors speculating that it's probably going to be on the 17th or the 18th is when they're going to make the official announcement after the end of the regular season, uh, which should be pretty exciting. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. It's pretty crazy. This is awesome. And before I go any further, I just want to indicate like my heart does go out to those Coyote fans and the fans and the Arizona people. Like it's gotta suck to lose your team. I've never known what it's like personally because I live here in Utah, and the Jazz have been here ever since I've been born, and so we've never had anything like this before, or having somebody leave. Um, And so like I said, I think, especially us and anybody on the Utah side, make sure that you're showing respect to the fans, especially who've lost their team. Cause that's just, it's tough. And I think anyone from Utah and even Ryan Smith would probably prefer to have an expansion team. I know that he doesn't intentionally want to, take a team out of a city, but when there's an opportunity, you just got to jump on it. And so, uh, I hope that they eventually do get an expansion franchise. And in the meantime, if they don't want to support the Utah team, totally understand, but it would be cool if they can. But I kind of wanted to end the stream just getting excited about what's about to happen. I think it would be really awesome if some of the fans, the people in Utah and the community could get out and welcome these players that were going to come and make a visit. I will actually be out of town this week, which is just bad timing, but had some plans going on to be out of town for a long time coming, and so I'm gonna miss it if there are any things going on. But man, that would be so awesome to be there and welcome the team and just really show the community that we're here to support this group. Uh, so moving forward, the Delta Center, I went to a preseason game against the Sharks and the Kings this past fall, and the Delta Center is not a great venue for hockey. I will be one to totally acknowledge and admit that, and the NHL even acknowledged that and told Ryan Smith, like, you need to have a different plan in place, either renovating the Delta Center or a whole new arena in itself. And for those who haven't been following Utah news at all, there's been some bills being passed to increase the taxes to help support a new stadium, and hopefully in downtown Salt Lake City. There's been other areas being speculated of where this might go, but I think that's the goal, is to have it somewhere in downtown Salt Lake City. But that is the plan. Is I think that there's going to be a new arena that's going to be built where they can support both the Jazz and this new Utah team. So a lot of exciting stuff happening around Utah, and really, Guys, I've grown to like hockey, but I feel like I really haven't had much loyalty to a team. I mean, I did have some loyalty to the Sharks, and they were doing really well, and I really wanted them to succeed, but I just don't really, I'm not really uh excited about where they're headed. They're in the dumps. They're the last place team in the NHL. And so they haven't really been fun to watch. And it just seems like ever since they started paying a ton of money for all these veteran players, and then they just didn't do anything in the playoffs. And now they're just really stuck. And so it's kind of, and then you have this other team, the Vegas Golden Knights, who came in and they were successful right away. Vegas was the closest geographical team to me, and so I felt like it was an okay chance to start liking them. I'm even wearing the hat, guys, and so it was fun to support them. But having one in your own backyard is just, and especially no really firm, diehard loyalty to a team quite yet, just makes me like super excited for this team and ready to jump on and support the heck out of this team. And with that, there might even be a little bit of a shift with this channel. I've been kind of bouncing around between, Catan and some other sports videos and things like that. But I feel like this might be a good opportunity for my own channel to just jump in, start covering these guys, and really give, my audience and viewers and the people in the Utah area a little bit more of some perspective of hockey, because I want everybody to jump in on this hockey bandwagon. It's a great sport. The playoffs are amazing. I went to a Vegas Winnipeg Jets playoff game last fall, or not last fall, but last summer. And then I was there when they won the championship. I didn't get to go to the game, but I was in Las Vegas doing something else. And so it's a great atmosphere of the playoffs. And so I think the people here in Utah are going to love it. I think they've been looking for some more teams to support, and I think it's really going to take off, honestly. So I kind of want to close on this. Like, what do you guys think are some names that Utah should pick? There's a lot of different names being thrown around. Some are really cool. Some are to make fun of the Utah culture that's here, that's unique. And then there's some that are just kind of throwaway, in my opinion. But a couple of ones that I think would be awesome. I really don't care who they're called, honestly, as long as it's just like not something completely out of nowhere. But some of the ones that I'm kind of digging right now, I'm actually more concerned about like what the color scheme is. They better have some really cool colors and some really cool like sweater designs and branding. I just want the branding. I just want us to look cool and not just like this second rate NHL team, even though it might be, we might be, take us a couple of years to become competitive. But love, I like a couple of my favorites. Utah Raptors. Right now we have a minor league team called the Ogden Raptors. They're a baseball minor league team. The reason why Raptors could be popular here is because they've found raptor bones here in Utah, so that's why there's some claim to that name. So I like the Raptors. I do like the Swarm, as far as like a bee swarm, and you could call the arena the Beehive, just because I mean we're the Beehive State, so I think it'd be really cool. We have another minor league baseball team called the Bees, so and I don't want to count their eggs. Count the chickens before they hatch, but there's some momentum of trying to get a major league baseball team. And so if they plan to kind of maybe use the Bees for a baseball team, then obviously I wouldn't want them to have another Bees type name here. I like the Gulls for an MLB team. I think like Seagulls. I think that would be really cool. And if they do that, then I like the Swarm and you could do a pretty cool. I saw one. I don't want to post it because I don't want to, take anybody's work from them, but they had a pretty cool logo of a bee holding a hockey stick, and I thought that was pretty dope. So I like the Swarm, maybe Stingers or something like that to represent the bee. And then the other one that I kind of like is the Yeti. There's a lot of momentum around Yeti. I think it's really cool. Some downsides to Yeti is the footprint idea is from the Avalanche, and so I don't want us to copy the Avalanche. I feel then that makes me a little bit worried. Maybe there can be some back and forth on what we can working with them on the branding, but again, I think it's more about the color scheme. But I think that would be pretty cool. Is the Yeti as well? So those are kind of my top three. But let me know in the comments what you guys think they should name this Utah team and what you want their colors to be. I think it will be awesome. So last thing that I'll maybe cover is, I don't know a ton about the Coyotes, but what I have heard is that the Coyotes are actually pretty close in a certain sort of like, I guess, in situations the as the Jazz are, where they're a kind of a young team, up and coming. They've had some disappointments, but they have a lot of draft capital and have an opportunity to be able to improve. And so this will be an exciting team to watch. And so I think, and the last thing too that I wanted to say is, I have a lot of faith and trust in Ryan Smith in being able to treat these players fairly. And there's a lot of like uh, contradictory reports about how the players feel about relocating to Utah. A lot of what I'm reading is saying that they really don't want to. They're not excited about it. They're not excited to move their family. And that's totally understandable. Same with, but I have heard some that say that they're excited. So I don't really know who to believe, and I'm not going to be somebody who just like bashes on Arizona and says, of course they would want to move to Utah because we're the mountains and the cold. And yeah, it's more of a hockey atmosphere anyways. We don't know that yet, but I hope we can prove that. And so I just hope that he's, fair to these players, because really we want people that are all in on this team. And so if there's some that are just really upset and frustrated that they are moving to Utah, then I hope that the owner actually even is willing to maybe even take, slow down on the rebuilding plans to make sure that we get people who want to be here. That remains to be seen. I think we want some hungry people. I want some people hungry, like those who were drafted by the Knights and they felt gypped by their old team that they didn't get protected and that sort of thing. That's what I want to see. And so I want some hungry players who are ready to make the most of this new situation that they're getting thrown into. So anyways, thanks guys for jumping on this with me. Let me know what you guys think. I'm super excited. I think this is a great opportunity for Utah and a great opportunity for my channel. I want to be able to cover these guys more. There's a lot more to hockey that I need to learn too, but I'm looking forward to this journey with you guys too as well. So we'll be chatting more later, and I'll be taking my equipment with me to where I'm going out of town. And as soon as we get more updates, I'll make sure to jump on and let's talk about it. Anyways, guys, thanks for jumping on, and we will see you later.